It's 6:30, so we will call this meeting to order. Can I get a roll call, please?
Ms. Adkins?
Here.
Mrs. McDaniel?
Here.
Mrs. Peterson? Mrs. Shuffle?
Here.
Mr. Sorensen? Mr. Sturm?
Yes.
Mr. Wright?
Yes. Approval of the February 17th, 2025 agenda. Can I get a motion? Okay. All right. Can I please get a motion to approve tonight's agenda?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Vote, please.
Ms. Atkins?
Yes.
Mrs. McDaniel?
Yes.
Mrs. Shuffle?
Yes.
Mr. Sturm?
Yes.
Mr. Wright?
Yes. At this time, we would like to open a public hearing per Iowa Code 26.12 for a public improvement project for a high school and middle school roof replacement project.
So what you'll see is if you go to the documents there, and this is what a board hearing is, just an opportunity for people to provide feedback on it. Oop, that looks like the bus. There we go. Hold on one second. I'm gonna, just so I can see this better. You're not gonna have to do anything. I'm just gonna unplug it, plug it back in. That way it won't be blurry. There we go. All right, so if you look at this, so the hearing is for, we're doing 2 roof replacements. We're gonna send them out as a separate package because they're slightly different, but then allow for kind of a discount if somebody were to be awarded, for somebody if they want to put in a discount if they're awarded both packages. So we have the middle school partial roof replacement, estimated price for that, or cost for that. So if you go up just a little bit, oh, don't scroll so fast. So it is about, and this is supposed to be high school, I'll correct that. So about 41,000 feet of roofing, or square feet of roofing at the middle school. I'll keep scrolling down. So the bids will be due on 3/7. Keep scrolling down. Keep scrolling. Go all the way down past the bidding document, down to the, keep going. There's a lot of pages. Keep going. That all spells out the conditions for the bid process, you have the bid bonds, et cetera. So that was high school. This is middle school. Middle school. So high school is 41,000 square foot. Middle school is 11,000 square foot. We did find that a lot of our roof is in good shape. Keep going, way past this. All due to us back at the same time. They've been posted both on the website and in the public bidding area. So this is like this Iowa Association of School Boards. If people want to go online and, or not, if they want to go online and find it, they could bid there. So this is the area of the middle school that's going to be replaced. Keep going, scroll down. So the, oh, keep scrolling. This is the area of the high school that's going to be replaced. It's kind of that, it's like the second story area. You can kind of see it highlighted there. And then there's kind of the plans and the specs for that as well. Okay, keep going. That just kind of talks about what the plans are for that. Oh, now you can scroll in. I think you're at the next. Zoom in. Okay, keep going on. All right, keep going down. Keep going. Go back up real quick and zoom in right there. Nope. Okay, keep going down. Just so people can see it. So this still is just information on the roofs. You can find all this in the bid documents online. Keep scrolling. Okay, this is what it's going to call for. They want a 2-year installer and 20-year manufacturer. Keep scrolling down. Some performance requirements, submittals. Keep going. That talks about the warranty. Keep going. roof maintenance. Sorry, lots of fun construction documents. Keep going. Yeah, keep going. Talks about the joint, how the joints are supposed to be sealed. Okay, there you go. So as you can see, it's a pretty detailed list. I believe the estimated price for the high school is around $800,000, and then the estimated price for the middle school is right around $250,000 is what they're estimating. So we'll see what the bids come in at. You know, they could be lower, could be higher. So, does anybody have any questions, comments, concerns?
These are posted on the district website.
On the district website, as well as 3 other publications that go out statewide. So,
Okay.
requirement was you post at 1, but they posted in 3 different contractor rooms. I think that's, last time I think, what did we end up getting, like 7 bids or something like that, which was awesome. So hopefully we can get something similar this time. We think we're early enough, so.
And what was the date that they had to be in?
It looks like March 7th.
March 7th. And
Yep.
then we would.
You guys would
discuss
take
it for
action on the 17th.
Gotcha.
Yep. So that gives us a few days to kind of vet in case there's somebody new, or we can ask questions. They can review the bids and make sure that they're appropriate and complete, so.
Then as part of the public hearing, we now open it up for any public comment. Do we have anybody on site or online? No? Okay. Hearing no public comment, we will adjourn the public hearing portion of the meeting, and we will move to commendations and good news.
So we have, I'm gonna kind of defer some of my time here. I want to introduce the high school staff here. We kind of came to the board last fall with a proposal to start a new alternative ed center. Kind of focused on students who, for a variety of reasons, the general education setting is not a great setting for them. So it's using some of our online programming with a certified teacher in the room, which Miss Julie's here with us tonight, and focused on helping the students get the credits they need so that way they can graduate. So hopefully the end result is graduation rates are up, and we have less kids on a homebound setting, and more kids that are available to be able to get their work done in the school setting. So just a quick overview, the Alternative Center for Education, ACE, is Julie McComas is the lead teacher in that, started in November, and it is located out of our middle school. So students will go to the middle school for set times. So they might be here for the full day, they might be here for a part day, and then they do their coursework and work alongside Julie to get their credits. So now I'll turn it over.
Still everything I was going to talk about.
Perfect. Well, no, you're going to give us the results of this. Now it's been going for a couple months, but they've had such positive results. I thought this would be a great time for them to come in and share some of those.
Yeah.
So
Emma
again,
heard-
it is a high school program. Just FYI. All right.
Emma heard we were coming, so she put a podium up so that we wouldn't get too comfortable and talk too long. Thank you very much for letting us present tonight and share some good news. And also thanks for taking a chance on such a program. It really has had a huge benefit to a group of students. So as Dr. Hastings said, we've got Julie McComas here with us today. We brought her out of retirement. She's our program coordinator as well as kind of our lead teacher within the program. And then Miss Jamie Justison, assistant principal at the high school. Mr. Dean Leaders is also one of the teachers that is assisting and helping us out through the end of the year. And then if you want to click, Lisa. Yep, and then high school and middle school administration both. Mandy's been amazing, and Ryan helping out in situations because of proximity. They can jump over there really quick, and then we try to follow up as much as we can, or have staff over there when we can have staff over there. Next slide, please. So just to kind of elaborate a little bit on what Dr. Hazing already started talking about. The structures worked pretty well. There is a little bit of flexibility, but I think ultimately what I love about it is that the design of it is that kids kind of think of it as a working environment. So they are there Monday through Friday. Most students are there about 3 hours. It kind of depends on the course load they need to achieve. But what I love that this working environment is, if they are late or absent, then instead of just saying, we move on, they have to make up that time. And so it's kind of learning, like, I've got X amount of work to do, and so if I'm going to be 10 minutes late or 20 minutes late, then I may be staying 10 or 20 minutes late. Or if I'm absent a day, that means that my Friday may look like I'm there for a longer period of time, or more hours, or twice as long, or whatever it may be. So I think that was something we set up at the start, and I think it's been a good thing for students to learn some responsibility there. Students can work at home on these lessons. That is through Edgenuity, which is a online program we've used at the high school since COVID. And what we like about it, I'm jumping around now, I apologize, but if you look down there, what I like about it, it is tied to our graduation requirements and our curriculum at Lewis Central. So Lewis Central teachers, content-specific teachers, actually went through the different programs and developed it based off of what we teach within our course. Jumping back up, tests must be taken at school under supervision of Ms. McComas or staff members, and they are pretty strict about that. They take phones from them. They have to turn their screens towards the teacher. So we do a lot just to make sure there's integrity within that. So as I mentioned, Edgenuity is the program that we use, and it's something we used through COVID and have continued to use for students here and there as they've had medical issues or needs. And this has really come in nice. It works nicely for the ACE program. Credits, Julie's going to talk a little bit more about that, because I think this is probably one of the most exciting things, but we call them scoreboards, but the way they kind of look at the credits earned and encourage each other to earn those credits. So I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Justison, and then we're going to let Julie kind of take it home, because ultimately she's the one that's doing all the work and has worked really hard to make this program work. Been a phenomenal asset, and we loved her at the high school, but I think she's found her kind of home. This is definitely a passion of hers, and she's done a phenomenal job. So.
All right, so here's some data for our program. Like Dr. Hazing mentioned, this started at the beginning of second trimester. In the weeks leading up to second trimester, we got together as a group of educators to identify students that may benefit from the opportunities available in this program. So that consisted of administrators, school counselors, school-based interventionists, special education representatives, teacher from our Connections to Graduation program. And our first priority was to look at seniors who were potentially at risk of not being able to graduate on time due to credit deficiencies. So we kind of gathered a list of those individuals, as well as a couple juniors as well, to get started. Reached out to those families to let them know that this opportunity was available, and then we're able to move forward with individual meetings with those students and families to kind of talk through what their day would look like at the program, and do some goal setting and things like that. And that's kind of how any new student into the program, we're looking at doing those individual meetings and determining what their day is going to look like and what their goals are in the program. So far, students have earned a total of 44 credits, which I think is pretty exciting. So they're doing really great work over there and seeing some success. And Ms. McComas will talk to you a little bit more about what that looks like.
So, like they said, the kids come in at different times. The majority come in at 7:30 to 8, but the bus riders have to come at that time. And we have a couple that stay all day because they don't have transportation. Most of the kids drive, and so most of them come in the morning and then they work in the afternoon. Though we have a couple that come in the afternoon because they have trouble getting up, and that was the problem at the high school. Attendance was a problem. I have an advantage of I know most of the kids because I was there last year. Yeah, I retired I lasted a whole trimester. It wasn't for me, and so when I was contacted about this, I'm like, yes, this is right up my alley. So the program itself, lots of rewards and incentives. These are tough kids. They have not been successful in the regular setting, so you have to look at things differently. I think probably if you look at the program supports, I'm jumping kind of around to the location is perfect. We've taken away the barriers. Why I say location, it's at their own, the multipurpose room, so they have their own entrance. They come in, they have their own bathroom, and they have their own gym and our own classroom. We call it the whole school. That's our ACE school. And so they have no distractions. They're not tempted to go and hang out in the bathroom and get lost, or in the halls, or the problems they were having at the high school. These kids had, some of them were there just for the social being and not earning credits, so they're all credit deficient. So I think where we placed it, or where it was determined to be placed, has worked really, really well. Daily goal setting, so they come in and they each have to, with Edgenuity, I can see at the end of the day, I look how many minutes they've spent in each class, how close they are, the percentage they need, and so I meet individually with each student as they come in. They sit down right beside me and they set goals. I'm 25% done in math, I want to get to 40% today. And at the end of the day, then they check in, how did you do? So lots of that goal setting, because again, these kids need motivation. They don't have that intrinsic motivation. That's the hardest part. I'd be a millionaire if I could get them to be motivated on their own. That's something that we're working on and reaching and setting goals. I'm like, if you write it down, it's more apt that you're going to get it. And so we do a lot of that. On another slide, you're going to see, go to the next one and I'll come back. The credits earned. This is our biggest. It doesn't look big, but it's a big poster on the wall. And so when every student earns a credit, it is a big deal. They get to choose their music now. They didn't like my music. I'd be going da 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 da. We did lots of Rocky themes. They pick their own now, and they march up. They get to pick.
Keep going, sorry.
I'm sorry. They get to pick which color sticker they want, and they put the sticker on. And so they know it's self-motivation, but they know if somebody in the program isn't getting their credits, and they push each other. That was something I didn't know would happen. And when they saw a friend not getting credits, they're like, what are you doing? Because when they all earned 3, we had a potluck. They all brought in their food, and we had a potluck, and that was a big deal because they were waiting on this last student to get that 3rd credit. And so they push each other in a positive way. And so that is a really big, big deal. The credits earned. We make a big deal on that. And you can see if you look at it carefully, like the first one has earned 4 credits. Well, he needs 18 credits to graduate. So he has a long ways to go. And so what will happen, if you kind of see where my brain's going, he's going to have to put in more time, try 3. So I have there's lots of charts that I keep for the kids, and so they know where they're at. Every single student knows that I haven't met my goal, try 2, so I'm gonna have to step it up, try 3. So I see many of them putting in a lot more hours, and they know it. If they want to graduate, that's what they have to do. There's just no hidden agendas. It's out there, and it's face value. If you want to go back to the other one, you can see some other stuff we do. Rewards, celebrating, mutual support, remove the barriers, the flexible scheduling, as we've already mentioned, small teacher-student ratio. There's 12 kids in the program, so we know, Mr. Leaders and we know exactly what they need to get done every single day. I use GoGuardian as a tool, so I can see at any time what they're doing on their screens. And if I see all of a sudden YouTube going on, Joe, you need to get off YouTube. I mean, it's just that fast. Am I their favorite person right now? Probably not. That's a new thing for me, that I'm the bad guy, pushing them all the time. But I think they know why I'm pushing them. They just need pushed constantly. It's like I said, either herding turtles or kittens. They're just like, you get one start and another one's they're just like all over the place all the time. One thing that I didn't know would happen is the new friendships, having the gym right there. I just sent a video last week. It was pretty awesome. I call it the ACE team instead of the A team. They are competitive. They get in there. We started with 10. We get 20 minutes breaks now because they just can't get a game in. And so they know, okay, 20 minutes, you owe me 10 more minutes. But they were willing to do that. Every day they either play soccer or they play basketball. We've tried ping pong. That did not work. We have to go to the gym. These are the kids that went to regular PE. They might be sitting on the side. they're not dressing out, you know, it's not cool. Maybe they weren't as athletic as the jocks in the school, and so they didn't participate. Oh my gosh, you'd think they were all college level athletes and they're just so proud of what they do. That's been something I didn't know would happen. It's really, really fun to see. If I was rich, I'd buy them all t-shirts and they'd change into their shirts and stuff like that. So the new friendships, you can see Brian, the student up front here. That was a day the high school counselors, his glasses were broke. He couldn't see. He has an eye injury and just really couldn't see. And thank goodness for the high school counselors, who I still work closely with. They come in and check in with the kids and check in on, you know, make sure I'm doing okay, help motivate everybody. They got him glasses. They worked with the eye doctor in the Council Bluffs and got him glasses. He was so proud of these glasses. They just broke, but we've got a situation with that. So yeah, that was a really good day. Okay, we can go forward. We talked about that. Off to the side is we just got some quotes from the students, why it's helping them. They can work at their own pace, good or bad. I mean, it's just, we've got to, they need to kick it in gear a little bit. It's helped me a lot because I can get things done at my own pace. There are less distractions. They realize that. We went to the career fair, or not the trades fair last week, and I didn't tell you guys this. We came back and they're like, oh my gosh, my heart was just racing the whole time. I'm not used to being around that many kids. Already they're like, I'm so comfortable with just the 12 kids in this program. I didn't feel comfortable around that many kids. They haven't been there that long, but it was interesting how their safety net, it's a safety net. We can go forward. We have our norms, be responsible, be respectful, be safe, and we follow those every day. They need to earn their credits. They need to do the work. Our motto is every minute matters. And I remind that, they're so tired of me saying that. Every minute matters, but it's true. That's two other quotes from the kids. Less distractions, motivation to get work done. They know we care, we push all the time, but we try to make it a safe spot. It's gonna be interesting. I'm excited to see how it all works out at the end. If I was betting up here, do I think they'll all make it? No. These are kids that got way behind, but as one of the counselors from the high school, when I was feeling down one day, he's like, Julie, none of these kids would have graduated. If you get half of these kids to graduate, you know, and my goal is way higher than half, but will they all be successful? They're all successful, but will they all meet the graduation? I don't know. Time will tell with that. They have to kick it in gear. And again, the intrinsic motivation, they don't really have it. That's what's gotten them in this situation, but it's a great program, work in progress. Have lots of ideas already for next year. Coming in at Try2 from the very beginning, what we want to do. We're meeting already this week, 2 more students, possible candidates that we're meeting with for different reasons they need. So, questions for
I have a
any of
couple.
us?
Is there the possibility of like hybrid between high school and ACE? Like if they wanted to take welding or woods, would they be allowed to come over to the high school for that particular period and still do the remainder of their classwork with you?
We're meeting tomorrow. We have a 2:00 meeting tomorrow. My input will be if the kids are in a good credit situation. I have a student that really wants to do that. However, he's not worked really hard as he should have, and I don't think he's gonna have the time to go over there. I have another student who's very interested in welding. He has done well, so I've asked the counselors, you know, save a spot, and we're gonna visit with that to see. Some, you know, I don't see juniors probably, the 2 juniors we have probably need to stay and get in a good situation. That'd be an opportunity for next year. Each of them are in here for so many different reasons. Yeah. Whether it's attendance, whether it was skipping, whether it was they just didn't do any work. And so we'll discuss that tomorrow.
And at the moment, I have lost the other one. If you catch it flying around the room, send it back over, because right now it's gone. If I think of it, I'll ask.
Okay.
But obviously, that was my big one.
Yeah.
So how many students do you think you'll be able to, what would be the max number? I mean, you have 12 now, maybe 14.
Because we could have more because the majority are in the morning. So the afternoon, there's like 4 to 5 kids.
Okay.
So again, if we get more, I suggest come in the afternoon. So, because I think really it could be 10 in the morning, 10 in the afternoon.
Okay.
Because in the morning usually it's around 9, we're busy. I mean, it's busy. It's just
Right.
crazy. Like I said, it's just like kittens. They're just all over the place, and they can't sit for that long. I mean, these are not your traditional students, so, maybe 30 minutes and then they're up, they're going to get a drink or they're going to the bathroom. We only allow one in the bathroom at a time, for obvious reasons. Nothing good happens in the bathroom, and so one at a time, but there's no arguments. They know the rules, and so, I think it depends on the students too.
Right.
I've got a rambunctious group of boys in the morning right now. I wouldn't want very many more in the morning with that crew, but in the afternoon, can handle more. It's a quieter crew in the afternoon. Come visit sometime. It's pretty cool.
Okay.
Anybody else?
Okay, it came back.
Okay.
Can they come back for year 5, the seniors, if they don't make it? Are we having them come back for year 5 to get them, even though if I'm not mistaken, 5-year seniors don't count towards our graduation rate, is that correct?
That's correct.
And they won't count towards the 4-year, but there's a 5th year.
There is a 5th year,
It's also
okay.
calculated. Our goal ultimately though is to produce citizens that will be good for our community. So,
Yeah.
our goal will be that they do ultimately graduate. And so yes, now, when you say come back, you mean come back to the ACE program?
To the ACE program, yeah.
Yeah, that's probably what we would look to do in those situations. And we'll work with summer school too, as much as we can, so if they don't end up finishing by graduation and walking time, we would still encourage them to partake in summer school and do our best to get them finished up before August.
Wonderful. Okay, thank you.
I have one question for you. So success breeds success. Is there any one thing that you feel like you picked up with working with these kids every day to where it may translate well over to like general school population? Or do you think it's more of a case-specific kind of?
I think it's it's hard because it's Edgenuity, so it's online learning, it's not classroom learning. However, we didn't really talk about that. I've had 2 situations. I had a student that wanted to do art and liked art, and so I took the framework from Edgenuity and I made an independent learning situation. So it's such a unique, it's hard to, being in both settings. I think attendance matters, every minute matters. I mean, you could take those back in, but these students being an online, not full-day program, it's hard to compare it to a traditional school setting.
That's fair.
I would just say heck of a job to you, your team. I can't imagine all the patience that it takes. I just can't. And I would agree with whoever told you, the road that they were going on, they pretty much had a 0% chance of accomplishing anything. Now they have basically 100% chance. It's all on them. And so, heck of a job giving them the roadway to success.
Thanks, guys.
I'm very proud of all the stickers I saw up there. That's quite impressive in less than a full trimester to have earned that. So please tell them congratulations for me until I can get in there.
Yeah, I will.
One important thing too is we're not reducing any sort of graduation requirements.
No.
They're being held to the
Some
same.
alternative schools in other areas, that's what they do. They change the set of requirements. We're not doing that. They're required to meet the 55 that everyone else is with the unique set that we currently have in place for this year. So we're not lowering the standard there at all.
And I remind them of that. I don't, when they're like, oh, can't you just give it to me? No, I'm not giving, no, they do, they'll beg, please, I'm at a 50%, because they have to earn a 70% on their test to move on. And so they'll be at a 50, that's good enough, just give it to me. no, then at the final, you're not gonna, you're not gonna get it. And so, but at any time, they can come up after they take a test, they come sit beside me and we go through every single question and answer. Now go take it again. They would love to give me, I'm like, no, let's learn together. And so, it's credible. And they should be proud once they do graduate. And one got his graduation box, and the parents at conferences, I send out weekly progress reports to all the parents, letting them know, not necessarily a traditional progress report, it changes every week, what I think they should know. Your child has fallen behind, I'm concerned about their attendance, or at this point they should be, and at the end of the trimester, their grade report card will be, here's how many they had, here's how many they should have had by this end of the term, this is how many they have to go. But I mean, it's been constant. So every week I give an update to parents. So there's lots of parent communication. Some of the parents aren't really involved in their education, so I always include the student too, so they know. There's lots of dynamics going on.
If you end up with a waiting list, how long have you talked about how long you'll let them have their chance before you have, exhausted every opportunity we've given you? We have other kids that want to come in. Have you even just a ballpark?
We've talked a little bit about that. Right now, we're not in that situation, but I had a student that has not been performing, and I didn't tell you guys this, but I said I'm meeting with the high school on Tuesday. This was last week, and I'm like, we're going to determine if there is somebody that will be more successful and needs the program, and you're not taking it and using it like it should, you may lose your spot. So they know that, and we did have one already.
Due to attendance, it just wasn't engaged when they were there, it wasn't attending, and we said, that's not what this is about.
Yeah.
So we looked at moving on to something else there.
I like the
It's a
accountability.
good question, we haven't been in it long enough to know
Right.
what that threshold's gonna be.
Yeah.
But if we do have a waiting list, then it probably is gonna be different.
Yeah.
Is there a max number of how many you could potentially take?
We talked about, we set it for 12 at the beginning, but because, as I said, there's more in the morning, I could still have some in the afternoon. And like I said, we're meeting with 2 this week. Tomorrow, I already have a meeting, and hopefully we'll get 2 more in the afternoon. I can have probably 5 more in the afternoon.
Okay.
Anything else? It's a great program for kids that need it.
I'm glad to have you back.
Yes.
This month, we're at least kind of right in the middle of all of our activities. So we did have a couple, I'll just kind of point out at least 2 good things. We did have girls competed at state. Once the boys compete this weekend at state, because we have 9 qualifiers wrestling this week for the boys. I'll have both teams come in to the next board meeting to be officially recognized. But we did have a couple of state champions for the girls, and we had a couple of other medalists for the girls, and I believe they finished 4th overall as a team. So that's fantastic. So, but again, we'll kind of wait for the celebration until after both seasons are over. So, and we do have districts coming up for both boys and girls basketball. So it's just kind of a busy, kind of wrapping up one season. And I've already seen softball and baseball have started doing some stuff in the gyms. And so same with soccer, they've got their little leagues, what's that called? Futsal leagues spun up. So, just a matter of time. It's just interesting. The school up here is always busy, like always. We've talked before about, can we put a gate across the high school to keep people from hanging out in our parking lots at midnight? But I don't think we can, because we have kids in the gym and doing youth activities until dang close to that. So it's crazy, but.
It was in my email too, that I shared with you guys, which my parent email. Jacob Koloff-Sadler is a national merit finalist. So credit to him, that is an awesome honor. Awesome honor. So, and I even got him to smile.
Yep, and he's another one we'll bring here to talk with you guys. So, yeah, And then show choir just got back from a,
Corp and Company had
Quite a
their
trip.
annual road trip, and as Dr. Hartman and I can attest, it was dicey at the end. We made it all the way across the state of Iowa and then hit blizzard-like conditions, turned an hour and a half drive into about a 3.5-hour drive north of Dubuque. So, and one of the buses, the driver couldn't see and had to get out and scrape the window about every 10 or 15 minutes. So it was a little bit of a long trek, but worth it. Company performed on Saturday, early Saturday afternoon or Saturday morning, I don't remember which now. And they ended up second runner-up in their division. And then Corp made finals from the daytime performance, and they were fourth runner-up. And throughout the daytime, Ethan Bortmus won one of the best solo awards for the entire day. So it was a good day. And then we also had 4 kids, I think, perform in a solo contest, but unfortunately I did not hear where those kids ended up. So, but it was a successful weekend, and bus trip up and bus trip back, and the way back was much easier.
and you made it through a little bit of snow too.
But I think the snow followed us in our back pocket on our way home.
That's your fault.
Your fault.
No, Dr. Hartman's, I'm not taking any blame for that.
When you also had the dance team showcase,
Dance team showcase.
Showcase.
went
We had
really
state
well,
swim.
and not only did they perform, they invited dance studios from around the area and had a really good turnout. So it was-
They have quite, it's quite the show. It's
It
2
is.
hours long, so they did it in the auditorium this year.
Mm.
Yeah, and I heard that was much appreciated for, better, you don't quite get the bleacher butt you do in the,
I will say
Bleachers.
they could put the backdrop up though. I missed that, because usually I was really nice.
oh, yeah.
Oh,
It
yeah.
wasn't there, and I thought, I
They didn't
assumed
use
would
it?
put up. We didn't use it, and I don't know, but it was much better, it was far more. And the audio in there is considerably better, I mean, you can hear.
Yeah.
And
what they're saying.
we also had state swim last weekend too,
Yeah.
so, yeah, lots of stuff,
Even when there's not a lot of stuff going on, lots of good stuff.
yeah. Okay,
Any other commendation, good news?
no, you guys are free to stay or free to leave?
You can go sit by the fireplace.
Oh, nice.
You didn't even get that sentence out.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, thank you for everything.
Okay, so we'll move forward to comments and suggestions. This is one of 2 times during our meeting that we open the floor to any comments or suggestions from either the audience or from viewers online. Do you have anything for us, Stu? Do we have anything online? Hearing none, we will move forward to the consent agenda. Can I get a motion to approve? Do we have an updated personnel sheet?
Yep, same.
And can I get a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Motion to approve.
Okay. Second. Vote, please.
Ms. McDaniel?
Yes.
Mrs. Shuffle?
Yes.
Mr. Sturm?
Yes.
Ms. Atkins?
Yes.
Mr. Wright?
Yes. Moving on to reports. Superintendent report.
So I'm actually gonna have, Dr. Hartman, I sent you 2 emails. Go ahead and pull up those. If you can zoom way in on that. I'm just gonna give a quick update. Oh, keep going all the way. Let's get, so I can actually read it. There we go. Okay. So just a quick update. The parking lots, you will see us send those out for bid, I believe. We talked about doing that as soon as in 2 weeks, or next week, I think. Is it next week? We talked about next week, I think.
Yes.
So we'll send out the high school parking lot and the Titan Hill Lane and parking lot work as soon as next week. And then we'll have a board hearing on that on March 17th, and then you guys will, or on March 3rd, I think, and then you guys will hopefully have that approved as well on March 7th. No, I think we're doing the next meeting, or we're doing the April 3rd. No, award date, March 25. Okay, so March 17th. So anyway, so that's parking lots. So, Mr. Duke, I'm sure that's why you're here. It's coming out. As soon as it does, you'll get a text from me, so.
Where's this information?
It'll be on our website, and then it'll also be on a couple of state posting sites. So I know that we used, what's that?
Go ahead.
Yep. So I know that we used the Iowa Association of School Boards for one of the posting sites, one of the posting rooms, and then we also used the A&D Technical Supply Plan Room and the Master Builders of Iowa. So we posted 3 of those rooms, and then also on our website. So nothing else, you'll be able to find it on our website. And then all the submissions are done here, so you just drop them off here at a certain date, and then we'll do the bid opening on the same date.
And you guys have is there gonna be a deadline on when those bids need
Yep.
to be in?
Yep, we'll put a deadline for them to be in, and then we'll put a date and opening time. So we gotta open them kind of in a semi-public forum, so.
Sure.
So anybody can come to that time as well.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So I'll just check online.
Perfect, sounds good.
I thought you were thinking I was here for painting or something.
No, I know why you're here. Concrete, so. All right, and then so the next board next board meeting, I'm gonna have the Lewis Central High School fire alarm. We'll talk about that. We'll have a board hearing on the fire alarm. We do need to replace the high school fire alarm, so that way it's an audible fire alarm versus a tone fire alarm. We're having that design kind of done right now. So then you guys would have an opportunity to approve that, or not, I guess, a board hearing. You don't have to approve it until after we send it out to bid. And then once they come in, then you guys will award the bid, so. Otherwise, we're continuing to work through LED light things. Hopefully that'll be something that's done this summer as well. The high school roof. Titan Hill Mechanical, you guys have an opportunity today to award a contract to have somebody design that for us. And then the secure entrances are already being planned, and kind of that work is kind of underway, not the physical work, but the planning work. So we're trucking right along. Second thing I'm gonna do is have Dr. Hartman switch over to my facility. So I'm gonna zoom in, and just on that, make sure on 24, 25, and then zoom in over on the left. Yep, zoom in, and then the left, you can go more, there we go. So here's kind of where we're sitting at right now with our yearly items. This is for this summer. So these are items that are not considered bond items, things that we just have to do on a yearly basis. So you'll see as you go down, you'll see we had a plumbing repair at the high school. Go back up just a little bit. We have to get a new exit door off the main mechanical. Those are rusted through. Classroom carpet, we're going to replace 4 classrooms. We try to get on a rotation with those. Keep going down. Replacing things like, we want to add urinal dividers. There's no urinal dividers in boys' restrooms right now at Titan Hill. Again, addressing some carpet, addressing some more round cafeteria tables. We've already replaced a pool pump. The yellow means it's already done. It's green means we've already planned it. It's in the works. Okay, keep going down. Middle school, you'll see we're probably doing the lease at the middle school only because, we're not going to replace any carpet or anything like that, because we're going to do the major renovation in another year. So we're not going to do much in there. Obviously, the sewer exploration deal, so we can figure out why we're getting that. That still hasn't been done yet. Replace the fire panel in the basement. We did 2 kind of phases of that are already done. If you keep going down, the high schools, we're going to see quite a bit of work being done. Some things have already been done, like new pads in the gym, We installed a new commons projector and a screen. Every year we refinish the gym floor. We got that electric record board. We did that in partnership with Bush Club and LCEF. Repairs to Titan Hill hoist, that was a deal. That was the hoist is something that raises and lowers our backdrops in the auditorium. One of them just crashed down. It was just beyond its warranty as well, so we had to replace that this November. I'm just glad nobody got hurt because it was quite the commotion, I heard. And then we did a little bit of work on the Simplex fire. This is just working on it, just to make sure some of the things stayed up and going. So if you go back up, you'll see some of the big ticket items are commons restoration. So it needs to be, once we redid and we added the auditorium, like a lot of the stuff came down, like the Hall of Fame and a lot of that kind of stuff came down. In reality, we just need to repaint the commons now, but we just put it off for a year because we had spent so much money last year. So this is just basically repainting the commons. And then you'll see we also are going to repaint the gym. This is not the gym floor. This is like the walls and we're not doing anything with the graphic or anything like that, but like the ceiling, the walls, every 20 years or so, you just need to keep on top of that kind of stuff. And we're replacing in the gym, we're replacing all the ducts in the gym. So all the ducts are coming down and we're putting new sock ducts up. And then when you do all that work, the gym's going to have a lot of bare spots anyway. So it started with, we got to paint the ceiling of the gym. And then it was like, well, if you paint the ceiling of the gym, you got to kind of paint the wall next to it. It's going to look like, why'd you paint the ceiling and not the wall? So it's just painting. The marquee, we've gotten bids so far between $50,000 and $70,000. People have asked, why is that sign in the front of the school not working? Well, because it's $50,000 or $70,000 to replace it. So we're just looking at alternatives. And right now it's hard to get people to come out and kind of give you a quote, but I got 3 different companies looking at it. So we're going to see what we can do with that marquee. Obviously, we like it working. It's just, again, for $50,000 or $70,000, it's something you take your time on. And then you look down, we still need to find an auditorium podium. I know that sounds simple, but it's pretty big cost expense if you get a nice one. We are going to replace the weight room flooring. We're going to add weight room equipment. This has been a 2-year, 3-year project, so every year we've set aside money to replace equipment in the weight room to make sure that it's not rusty and that it's safe and that it's, we have approximately 600 kids every year that take weights classes. We need to make sure that we're on top of that. We spend about, when it's a curricular time for curricular expenses, we'll spend $100,000 to $150,000 on curriculum on a certain subject area. So we've just kind of taken money aside every year and just said, okay, well, this is weight room's one, or like weights classes, PE classes are one that they don't need much money year in, year out. So instead you take, when it's their allotted year, you kind of take that money and move it forward because you might need a weight or a few, whatever, some small equipment that costs $10,000. Well, your budget $100 because it's your year, so you just take that and you just keep moving it. Well, now we're to the point where a lot of our equipment's just kind of ragtag, and so you guys will see a bid next board meeting to approve weight room equipment. We actually got it down quite a bit from the budget number there, so we're probably going to be able to do almost both the weight room and the weight room flooring, the weight room equipment and the flooring, everything for what we had budgeted for the weight room alone, or for the equipment alone. So it's going to be quite a bit of savings. And again, that's not bond money, that's just money that we've set aside as a curricular expense. So if you keep going down, you'll see every year we have to do some work to baseball, softball fields. This is just making sure that the turf is in good shape and that there's no lips, because that can be a danger issue. If you keep going down, you'll see a lot of our budget this year is with technology, as it is every year. Every year we have to buy Chromebook. That Chromebook purchases are between $300,000 and $360,000 a year because we buy 800 of them. We replace, every freshman gets a new Chromebook, every 6th grader gets a new Chromebook, and then we replace a class or 2 of Chromebooks. So it's expensive. So, and that makes sure that our Chromebooks, when a kid has a Chromebook, they're only meant for a lifespan of 3 years. The majority of them last 4 or 5. So we limp them to the end, but if you're not on a regular rotation, it becomes expensive. Storage, we need to address some of our, when I say storage, isn't like lockers, it's like electronic storage. Staff laptops, new servers, phone system, that's gonna be one of our bigger expenses. Our phone system is a Cisco system, it's completely outdated, they don't even make the phones anymore, so we have to buy the phones secondhand and then hope they work. So this will be a new phone system that'll go in. And then if you keep going down, we'll see other things like, you'll see camera system, you'll see door access points, you'll see you'll see all those types of things. But that's more under the bond portion of it. Here's things we've already done in operations. So some camera intercom, door access, some septic plumbing, radios for the bus. If you go down transportation, you'll see, again, we're gonna look to buy a bus this year. We need to continue to stay on that rotation of replacing buses every year. We'll look to purchase another 12-passenger van. I just got a link to one today. Hopefully it's here in a couple weeks because the 12-passenger vans don't come up very often because state of Iowa, remember, you have to buy them used. You're not allowed to buy them new. And then you have to, you can only buy a 12-passenger. You can't buy a 15-passenger with the seat removed. It's very specific. So every school is going after the exact same vans. So the very few that are out there. So we've driven as far as Topeka to pick up vans before. I don't want to do that if we can find something local. And if you keep going down, every year we have a furniture budget as well. You can see it's not much, but if you keep going down, equipment, you'll see, you guys will have an opportunity to approve a maintenance truck. It's a little above the budget, but it's underneath their total budget, so we're okay there. That was just an estimate. And then if you keep going down, you'll see this is, and then go to the right just a little bit. These are our district-wide projects. So on the left, you'll see what we're projected to spend. You'll see the budgeted and you'll see the remaining. If you look at the bottom number there, you'll see that we're budgeted 1.975 million for our annual expenditures. To date, we've either budgeted or spent 1.85, which means that we have about $125,000 left over, which is great. We're in a good spot. I like to make sure entering summer that we have about $100,000 sitting there because things always come up in the summer. It's inevitable. So, so we're sitting pretty right now. So, and again, this is our annual one-cent sales tax and our PEPAL money that we use. And as you can see, it goes fast. Like we get a large campus. It's a lot of small things that add up very quickly. Any questions on that stuff? Okay. And then that's about all I have. Just wanted to give those quick updates because we're getting into purchasing season, so you guys will start seeing some bills.
Any questions, comments?
I saw in there it said, storage under the bleachers for 60,000.
Yep.
Would it not be smarter just to add on to the athletic building?
We're not allowed
Okay.
any more external storage. Like we're not allowed any, so like we've already maxed out the amount of metal siding that we can have in our district footprint. So it's more or less concealing it so it's not out in the open. I think the city has rules in place that restrict how much the public can see of metal siding. So we've exceeded it.
I don't think the athletic building is a long-term.
Well, yeah, and we'll see that too. I mean, there's not a lot of space around the athletic building. If you build onto it, then all of a sudden, I mean, we need a lot of space. So if you build onto the athletic building, I don't really know where you go. Maybe to the
What
to the
would it be
east.
for?
What's that?
Like, what would it be for? The
Well-
grounds equipment?
It's some for grounds equipment, but like all of our marching band stuff, they have to march it in from the building and out to the field. They would like a place to be able to store it. They already store some stuff underneath there, but it's not exactly weather tight. Like it's all dirt. Like we're gonna put some concrete down there. The football, a lot of their tackling dummies and stuff, it just sits out in the elements. So we're not constantly, but we've had comments from both baseball because baseball, all their nets and everything are out all the time too, because they don't have any storage. All the track hurdles are out all the time. So that kind of stuff, people will say, you bought all this stuff I mean, literally hundreds of thousands of dollars of stuff that just sits outside all the time. And then we just don't have a place to go with it. So being able to put it in there. So the idea is it's almost like 4 separate compartments, one for band, one for football, one for track and baseball and soccer, and then one for maintenance. So we can kind of store it. That's kind of how we have it laid out right now.
Am I missing a bunch of metal siding in my head? Because the only metal siding I can think of is the athletic building.
So we have a little shed, and they call it siding, but even like tough buildings fall under like that compartment. So we have the 2 tough sheds that are by the baseball field, and we have the shed that's over by the practice fields. Apparently that's it, we're maxed out. I learned that when we were going through the planning process with Shive Hattery the first time around. Kind of like we're completely out of external signage. We can't add any more external signage because we're out of it. But when you drive around the district, that's probably my number 1 complaint, is that there's not enough external signage. So,
All right.
yeah, fun city rules.
Yeah.
Kind of like we actually saved about probably close to $100,000 because the new units that were going on the rooftop of the school, the city requires them to have basically like covers on them. So you so that way people can't see your units from the road. So the way that you installed all those all the covers could have cost us up to $100,000. But there was some niche in there, because it was an existing structure, we don't have to do that. So, but we had to do it on the auditorium. So if you drive by the auditorium and you look at the roof, it's real pretty. You can't see our units on the auditorium. So, I mean, you can see the cage that's around the units, and I assume that you're probably thinking it's a unit, but it's a real pretty cage around it. Maybe they're counting that as part of our metal siding?
Yeah. Don't know. Never heard of such a thing.
Yeah. I try to follow rules once in a while.
Yeah. I bend them.
Any additional comments or questions? We'll move forward to discussion items. 8.01, maintenance pickup truck purchase.
I'm gonna have you go to the specs that I just emailed right here. Can you rotate it maybe? All right, if you zoom in. So this is from Edwards. We kind of put it out to a couple different companies. I mean, we've been on websites all over. We had planned on this purchase last year, and then it kind of just fell through the cracks. And then so we moved it forward to this year. They ended up getting a Kubota last year instead of a truck, so we decided to move it forward this year. Essentially what it is, it's a 1 ton, so it's a 3500. It's a Dodge. It's a diesel, so we knew we wanted diesel. We knew we wanted a ton. We knew we wanted a short box, and we knew we wanted a crew cab, and it had to come with the tow package and the snowplow package. So usually one of those in every truck we looked at it fell through the cracks. Thankfully, Bubba helped us a lot, or Director Sturm helped us a lot in trying to figure out which truck was best. We kind of landed on 2 different ones. It was either going to be a Ford F-150 or F-350 with a long box, or it was going to be this Ram 3500 with a short box, both crew cabs, both set up, but the same. The F-350 was about $69,000. This is $64,000. Both has pros and cons. We have some people that prefer Ford versus Ram. The Ford has a aluminum body. The Ram has a steel body. I mean, it's just, you kind of go back and forth. But at the end of the day, what Jim Edelman, our operations director, really wanted was he feels more comfortable pushing snow in a shorter pickup. And so this is I don't think it's that big of a difference, but he swears it is. And so this is 149.5 inches from nose to end, and the Ford was 176 inches from nose to end. So the difference of not quite 30 inches, but Jim swears it makes a difference. So At the end of the day, I don't have to drive it. It saves us a little bit of money. Jim's not planning on retiring anytime soon, so I told him, I said, I'll be real mad if you buy this and it's a lemon and then you leave us. So it's kind of comes down to what do they feel comfortable driving? What do they believe they need for their situation? So this is what they would like to have.
So it's this one, not what's in the board
Not the
packet.
original, not in the board packet. And the reason is because the one in the board packet was, we thought it was a diesel. Mr. Director Stern pointed out that night that it was not a diesel, so. Jim did admit that Director Stern knows more about trucks than what he does, so. And I'm glad you caught it, because
Well,
you said
and
we would
just
have not
for
been
the-
happy.
Just
with-
for the, so everybody knows, they're not just pushing snow with this truck. They use this truck to pull the big enclosed trailer for the different activities. It's not just local activities, they're towing it maybe a few 100 miles. It's loaded down fairly heavy with some of the activities. And the newest pickup that the district has was a couple years old. It was purchased used, but severely incapable of keeping up with what it needs to
It's a 25
accomplish.
Yeah,
Yeah.
3/4 ton. So the issue right now is we don't have anything that can pull that big trailer for like long distances. So we actually have a parent in the district who, through his company, we basically borrow, or like rent his pickup to be able to pull our trailer, because apparently they took the other one to Sioux Falls last year and something happened and it barely made it home. So nobody was comfortable driving our current vehicles with our trailer. Well, the problem is somebody else pulls our trailer. We still own the liability and the insurance and everything on the trailer, so it makes me more comfortable from a liability standpoint if it's our vehicle pulling the trailer. So in the future, this is what, when you go to Wisconsin or Sioux Falls or even Des Moines or Cedar Falls for football, this will be what they use to pull. You're not allowed to transport kids in a pickup, so I was a little leery of getting a crew cab. But both Director Sturm and Mr. Edelman made a lot of good points as far as like, that's where you're gonna store your stuff, like your tools, to make sure they're weather tight, to make sure that, you know, your equipment's in there if you have to, especially if you have to travel long distance. So, so it made a lot of sense to just go ahead and this does sound like it'd be a great solution.
And where are we purchasing this from?
This is from Edwards.
So that's 64,180 is the amount.
64,180 is the amount, yep. And again, we originally had budgeted off of something that we thought we wanted, which was a gas-powered. I think as we researched it more, diesel is really the route that we want to go, especially pulling. So that just automatically adds 10,000 to the price. And then new versus used. I think the one we were looking at originally, like the closest diesel I could find still had, you know, we saw one that was 3,300 miles. It was a 2024 diesel long box, but they wanted $68,000 for it. So why they want $4,000 more than a used pickup or than a new pickup, I have no idea. You just can't find anything that's out there, so. So, yeah, if we purchase it, we'll have it in hand on Thursday. We're getting a blade that'll come with it, so everything will be set up if we get more snow. We're not gonna put a salt, I told them, I said, I will come rip that thing off if we put a salt spreader in the back of it. We got other older trucks that the salt spreader can go on.
Yeah, it definitely was not for lack of searching around. I think I searched every Ford, Dodge, even Chevy dealership within about 400 miles
That's like a cuss word for you, isn't it?
of here. You know, I can drive any of them.
Any other questions, comments? Okay. Hearing none, we'll move on to 8.02, Titan Hill HVAC design fee proposal.
Go back to the. No, go back to the agenda. There we go. And then. Okay, so we got 2 bids. So we had Shive Hattery and then Morrissey Engineering. So one of the things we are looking at is we had long discussions with multiple people about kind of the direction we wanted to go with the Titan Hill HVAC system. At the end of the day, Jim again, and like I said, he's the one that has to work on it. He would prefer we go the route of getting a boiler and a chiller to help the load that's on the geothermal. We still might have to take a look at the geothermal in the future, but this will immediately help us with our situation. And even if we expand the future, this is still just a fail safe, you know, just in case. So, but this is something that the design. So we asked them to design a small boiler that'll go inside the boiler room, and then a small chiller that'll sit right outside the building on the north side. Shive Hattery came back and they wanted $69,500 plus fees, and then Morrissey Engineering came back at $46,000 flat. So the recommendation is to go with Morrissey then to help us design it. Again, it's not a hard project. Jim thought even he could design it, and I said, well, the problem is, Jim, is last time I checked, I didn't see what you with your engineering credentials is what we're required to have. So he had to concede, and so we have to get somebody that has a stamp to do it for us.
So originally we had talked about potentially digging up one of the playgrounds.
Yep.
on Titan Hill. So that means if we go this route, that none of that.
None of that.
Okay.
Yep, so none of that will happen. This'll, and again, this is gonna supplement it, and so, we know that it's gonna work, you know, immediately, so. We really don't have much redundancy across the district, so in the future, this doesn't mean we can't expand geothermal in the future, but this does, at a minimum, this gets us going right now at a lesser cost. And it'll, in the future, it'll create redundancy if we need, you know, if we decide to continue to expand, so.
You know, we've already explored that the roof will handle a unit on top.
There's no rooftop unit.
No rooftop
No,
unit.
it goes out the north side of the building, and it'll sit on a pad with a fence around it.
Okay.
You won't even see it from the, unless you're going up that little side road to the neighborhood, that's the only way you'll see it.
Any other questions, comments? Okay, hearing none, we will move to 8.03, resolution authorizing the issuance of approximately $20,500,000 general obligation school bonds, series 2025, and levying a tax for the payment thereof.
Yep. So that's just what you have to do in order for us to be able to go out and get bonds. So the timeline is still sending out for notification in March, and then kind of that July 6th area will be, or June 6th area is when we'll actually have the funds in hand. So we can continue to do our work and do those types of things, and we'll just pay ourselves back, because before June 6th, it's pretty much all planning, and planning doesn't have to have a resolution to pay yourself back.
And this resolution allows for us to put the general obligation debt levy onto our budget for this year, because we will not have sold the bonds by April 30th when the budget is due. So,
That too.
Any additional questions, comments? Okay, hearing none, moving forward to 8.04, the UNI cooperative agreement.
So we have a cooperative agreement with several colleges, including UNI, allows them to send us student teachers and interns. They are offering us a 3-year commitment. Really, all it is, it's just an agreement that they can send people to us, and that will have them. And I would say I've never seen anybody offered up to a teacher that they haven't accepted. You know, as far as teachers usually like supporting their profession and having students in our classrooms. And if they don't, then you can usually find somebody. Usually what we do is say, hey, we have somebody needs student teaching. can anybody do it? And always somebody steps up, so. But they did offer a 3-year commitment this time, so that's nice. You don't have to do it on a yearly basis. We can do it once and then not have to do it again for 3 years.
Okay. Any questions, comments? Okay. Moving forward to 8.05, employee request for leave.
So I had sent you guys it's one of these new, one of the new rules, and ours just came out with this, is I need to, hold on. Shoot, did I forget to? One second here. I'm gonna send you guys a. Did you get her to fill out the form? Do you have it with you? No.
I have her email that's
Okay,
consents to.
will you forward it? I'm gonna send you guys an email, have you read it. Sorry, this is all new, so.
Do you need me to read that portion?
You do, yeah.
Okay. We've evaluated the request and have determined, based on the review, that it is necessary to hold a closed session under Iowa Code Section 21.5(1) Subpart I. Closed session is recommended to discuss this employee request for other paid or unpaid leave per Iowa Code 21.5 Section 1A. Closed session is appropriate to review or discuss records which are required or authorized by state or federal law to be kept confidential, or to be kept confidential as a condition for that governmental body's possession or continued receipt of federal funds. Then you want to move to.
Yep, you can just move to closed session.
Can I get a motion to move to closed session?
Motion to move to closed session.
Second.
Vote, please.
Mrs. Shuffle,
Yes.
Mr. Stern,
Yes.
Miss Adkins,
Yes.
Miss McDaniel,
Yes.
Mr. Ray.
Yes. Okay. Then from there, we will move to comments and suggestions. This is the second time during our meeting to where we open the floor to any comments or suggestions from public either here or online. Do we have any comments from any of the people online? Okay, not on social media, all right.
Maybe on social media.
All right, then we will move forward to action items. 10.01, maintenance pickup truck purchase.
I'd like to make a motion to approve 64,180 for the Dodge truck for the maintenance department.
Second.
Vote, please.
Mr. Sturm,
Yes.
Ms. Atkins?
Yes.
Mrs. McDaniel?
Yes.
Mrs. Shuffle?
Yes.
Mr. Wright?
Yes. 10.02, Titan Hill HVAC design fee proposal. Do we have a motion?
Mr. Wright, I'd like to make a motion to approve the Titan Hill HVAC design bid from Morrissey Engineering for $46,000.
Second.
Vote, please.
Ms. Atkins?
Yes.
Mrs. McDaniel?
Yes.
Mrs. Shuffle?
Yes.
Mr. Sturm?
Yes.
Mr. Wright?
Yes. 10.03, the resolution authorizing the issuance of approximately $20,500,000 general obligation school bonds, Series 2025, and levying a tax for the payment thereof.
Mr. Wright, I'd like to make a motion to approve the resolution authorizing the issuance of approximately $20,500,000 for the general obligation school bonds, Series 2025, and levying a tax for the payment thereof.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, vote please.
Mrs. McDaniel?
Yes.
Mrs. Shuffle?
Yes.
Mr. Sturm?
Yes.
Ms. Atkins?
Yes.
Mr. Wright?
Yes. The resolution is adopted. Moving on to 10.04, the UNI Cooperative Agreement.
Mr. Wright, I'd like to make a motion to approve the cooperative agreement with UNI for 3 years.
Second.
Vote please.
Mrs. Shuffle?
Yes.
Mr. Sturm?
Yes.
Ms. Atkins?
Yes.
Ms. McDaniel?
Yes.
Mr. Wright?
Yes. 10.05, the employee request for leave.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion to approve it as presented in closed session.
Second.
Vote please.
Mr. Sturm?
Yes.
Ms. Atkins?
Yes.
Ms. McDaniel?
Yes.
Mrs. Shuffle?
Yes.
Mr. Wright?
Yes. So, I'd like to make a, or, let me see. Do I have to read anything special for this one?
Nope. Oh, yeah, it's the,
You have to read
Is
that
it the
every
same?
time, I
yeah,
think.
same thing.
Okay. So for the superintendent mid-year goal review, we've evaluated the request and have determined based on the review that it is necessary to hold a closed session under Iowa Code, Section 21.5, 1, Section I. Closed session is recommended to discuss this request per Iowa Code 21.5, 1A. Closed session is appropriate to review or discuss records which are required or authorized by state or federal law to be kept confidential or to be kept confidential as a condition for that governmental body's possession or continued receipt of federal funds. Do I have a motion to move to closed session?
So moved.
Second.
Vote, please.
Ms. Atkins?
Yes.
Ms. McDaniel?
Yes.
Mrs. Shuffle?
Yes.
Mr. Sturm?
Yes.
Mr. Wright?
Yes. Okay. So at this time, we are going to move into closed session to discuss the superintendent mid-year goal review. And then how did you put that?
And this, so we're just gonna end the broadcast.
Oh, so we're just going to end the broadcast
Rather than
now.
have the audience potentially sit out there for an
Yeah.
hour, to just come back and end the meeting, so.
So for items of interest, our next regular board meeting will be March 3rd, 2025. But we will end our broadcast here and move to closed session.